Once you're here, you can take it off. Yep. Say hello real quick. I want to make sure they can hear your audio.
How you doing, guys? Yeah, hear me? Yeah.
Everybody good? Okay, Scott, Richie, you get started, and we'll go from there.
Hey, Andre, how you doing, man?
Good. How are you? How are you?
Good. I guess since we've got both you and Adam this morning, I mean, I know before you got here, you both knew each other a little bit, kind of knew what each other could do on the court. What have you learned about his game just in the last several months, playing with him every day?
Adam's game?
Yeah.
I've learned a lot from him. I think he's a great shooter. He's a hardworking kid. He can,
Great.
I'll say he's one of the he works extremely hard. He's probably one of the best at it in our team. And I think he's such a great shooter that my ability to drive and play with the screens and look for my shooters and my bigs, I think me and him are going to play a big role on the team this year, even though we're freshmen. But coming in, I think everybody's going to have their eyes on those and Kofi and all those old guys. I think me and him could do really, really big things for the program.
So I guess how much have maybe the two of you challenged each other in workouts and practices?
We don't really challenge each other as much because usually we are either on the same team or when we're on opposite teams. I usually guard either Trent or Io. But whenever we guard each other or like a switch happen or something on a play, we really go at it and we challenge each other. He goes at me, I go at him. And we try to keep that up for every practice.
Yes. One last for me. Since you're on the same team a lot of the times, just how good has it been to maybe develop that connection between the two of you, just and get that going?
It's great. I think that's one of like as a player, coming from Puerto Rico and stuff. I think it's always good to like get to know other kids from other places. from other states and know their game and know their culture and know how hard they work. So I think just getting to know him. He's also my roommate. We're pretty much like together all the time. So getting to know him, it's been good, and I'm really looking forward to continue to get to know him and develop our relationship as teammates and as friends off the court.
Right. Thank you.
Hey, Andre, I hope you're well, man. I'm just wondering, I know you play at a high level in high school, but what's it been like in practice competing with Io and Trent and DeMonte, Adam? What's that been like for you every day?
It's been really hard. I'm literally exhausted after every practice, just having to guard pros. Io's a pro, Trent's going to be a pro. All those guys are pros. So, and that's what it's going to be like when we go out every night and face our opponents. I think we're pretty much, having pretty much everybody's going to be back in our opponent's team. So I think it's always good. It's a good test, to go Io or Trent or Adam or DeMonte, whoever it is. I think it's a great challenge. And I'm, like I said, I'm going to continue to work as hard as I can to be as ready as possible for our first game.
What are those battles like, and how do you feel you're doing in them?
I think I'm doing pretty good. Obviously, I'm a freshman, so I'm trying to learn big things. I'm a very, as a point guard, I got to be very observative. So I got to be able to see and like big things, like little things, like when they drive, maybe just like an elbow, so that they can get back to me. Just little things like I call them like I not dirty plays, but like I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. Just those little things that when I face older guys, like, on the opposite teams, I'm going to be able to do it. So during practice, it's been great. I think I'm doing a pretty good job. Just got to continue to work hard and keep learning and keep listening.
And last one for me, I know you committed and signed before Illinois really, showed it would win on the court. What have you noticed about the culture of the program that you're coming into?
I think it's a great culture. Coming from a great high school, like you said, I play at a big time high school, top 10 in the country. We had a great culture there, and me making that transition to Illinois and coming here and seeing and like being able to see how actual the culture works here. It's been great. I think Coach Underwood does a great job, and the rest of the coaching staff as well. They do a great job on emphasizing what our culture is. So we've been struggling a little bit on the defensive side. So he emphasized that, hey, like that this is our culture. This is how we're gonna win games, playing really hard defense. There's always gonna be days where we're gonna be a little sloppy on either both ends or either one. So whenever we do that, he always comes in and emphasize what our culture is, and I think he's done a great job, and I'm really glad I made the decision.
Thanks, Andre.
Sir.
Hey, good morning, Andre. What's it been like with Fletch, I guess, these last few months? And has your body, have you put on any weight, or has your body transformed?
Yeah, I think I've done a hell of a job there. I'm gonna continue to work hard, eat the weight room. I used to be a really, really like lazy guy back home. Everything kind of started changing when I went to New York and started learning about different culture, and then getting here. I think it's been great. I came here if I believe at 159, and I'm at 180 right now. So that's 21 pounds. I think my body has changed a little bit. Like I can see it. And he usually when you come in, he takes a picture of you, and then after a while he takes another one to see the difference. And I see it. It's not a lot because I think Puerto Ricans aren't really like super strong and super tall and athletic. So I think my body is not really gonna be really defined. It's going to be a little bit, but I don't think it'll be a lot. So, but the weight, the numbers are there, and I'm really happy at the place I'm at right now, and like I've been saying, I'm just gonna continue to work on that side of the process in the weight room. That way I can be as ready as possible for our season.
How have you noticed that helping you on the court in practice?
I think it's it helped me a lot. It helps me a lot during practice because like I'm a freshman, so being smaller and not weak, but a little less strong than the older guys. Being able to now to bump into them with my chest, kind of like play like I can play faster. I don't really get as tired. So I think that part of the of the process, that weight room part is being great, and I think Fletch is one probably.
Chiquito por fuerte.
Fletch is probably one of the best, if not the best, in the country. I love his work. I love how he motivates every single one of us. He's always like as long as you're working hard, he's always gonna keep motivating you and pushing you to the best you can be.
My last thing is, you talked about you and Adam wanting to play a role, and you expect to play a role on this team. What's that like for you? This team's projected to be pretty high in the rankings. You're a freshman coming in. What's this? Is this starting to sink in that this is really going to be your next step here in 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think so. Me and we don't really be talking about it as much, but we every now and then we just sort of say a few words. Hey, like I can't wait, or like I'm ready, like and I don't really have to tell him. He knows that. I know that from him as well. Like I think he's a great guy. I'm really looking forward to play with him, and along Coleman as well, like everybody on the team. Because it's been a long time. I don't know if it's because of COVID and stuff, but we haven't played in a long time. So especially me, like I haven't played since the end of my senior year. And I have that feeling of like playing, and like I can't wait to take on the court with the entire crew and put on a show for everybody.
Thanks, Andre.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Andre, I'm curious if among the fan base, most people discuss you and Adam together. It's Curbelo and Miller and Curbelo, and your roommates, and what are your thoughts on the fact that you two are almost discussed as one, by the fans, by the media, everything else?
It's a lot to take on. Just like as a kid, 18, 19 years old, it's a lot, like having that much support and so much media behind us. We're not grown men, but we're mature enough to handle all that, and we don't let the love for the fans take over. Just appreciate that. And I always appreciate the love of the fans and the media being behind us, but we kind of just leave that behind us. It's always going to be there, but we don't really be thinking about it because at the end of the day, we got one job, and it's always to put in a show when we go out every night on the court.
And do you have a preference of, should it be known as Curbelo and Miller, or should it be known as Miller and Curbelo? Which way should it go?
It doesn't matter to me. I'm very like I don't like that. That does like I've been saying, like it don't really matter, just because all I'm thinking about right now is just about that first game and how we're gonna approach the game, and how we're gonna continue to get better, so we can win a national championship. So I'll leave that up to you.
Okay. Do you guys discuss, what the two of you can do together in this program and what, the future might be?
Yeah, we talked about it. Like, we don't really do it now just because like we're already into practice and we kind of know it already. But during the summer, I kind of, I'm a point guard, so I want to get to know him. So I will always ask him, hey, like, what do you like to do? What do you think are your strengths, your weaknesses? Do you like to receive the pass in certain areas of your body, or to your left side, to your right side? And I just kind of like to get to know him, and so I pretty much know what he can do. He knows what I can do, and same thing for everybody else on the team.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Andre, great to see you, man. To speak on you and Adam having a chance to come in and make an impact, how do you feel like you're settling into what your role is supposed to be? What's been the message from the coaching staff and just what they expect you to bring to this team?
Just like what I've been doing pretty much so far, ever since I left my island. I'm just kind of get everyone involved and get touched to everybody before myself. Obviously, they're stressing about it a little bit. I got to shoot a little more because then that'll make the game easier. Because obviously teams are gonna know that I like to pass the ball a lot, I like to play with the screen a lot and stuff. So they're not really being too hard on myself on that side of the floor. They're kind of letting me play and figure things out. But obviously, when there's something that got to be addressed, they address it to me, and as like every other player, you want to get that fixed as soon as possible. So just kind of get everyone involved. I think that's what's gonna be my role. When it comes to playing time, get on that court and start producing right away. Get people involved. Get people touches. Kofi, Ayo, Trent in the 3-point line, and then obviously every now and then, whenever I can shoot and take a shot for myself, I will do so.
I know I was a guy that plays with the ball in his hands a lot. He did last year. How do you feel like you two can mesh together? I would think that you can make each other better. How have you seen that maybe in practice?
I think we can make each other so like really like a lot. Like we could be, if not one of the best backcourts in the country. Like we could be the best. If not, we'll be up there, one of the best. Just because like my story is kind of like when in high school I wasn't the guy right away either, so I had to like kind of play up the ball a lot. Like I even played the 4 on offense when teams will play zone, because they'll want me in the middle, getting people involved. So I think me and those could be a really good backcourt when we're together on the court, just because of the ability he has to shoot the ball. That's gonna be my thing. Like I'm gonna be looking for him, just like I'm gonna be looking for Kofi, Georgie, and everybody else. Like I think just because of the things he can do, me coming in, I think it will take a lot of pressure off his shoulders, because now he won't really have to create a shot for himself or for someone else. Like if he's tired or something, that's like really hard to do at the end of a game. So I think me and him playing together, I could help him a lot, just like he could help me.
And last one for you, what are some of those older guys like Trent, Ayo, even Tyler, Georgie, how have they brought you guys along? And, what have they done as far as a leadership role with you and the other freshmen?
They've done a great job. I'm at least with me. I don't know because obviously like I don't really be looking at that. But at least with me, I always like to ask questions and make sure I'm always doing the right thing. So I think me and Tyler have maybe a different relationship than just than teammates. He's like a brother to me. He's like a coach to me as well. Like he's always looking out for me. Um, excuse me. And same thing with Georgie and Kofi and like those. Same thing with them. But I just kind of wanted to say like that different relationship I have with Tyler. Just he's hurt right now, so he's looking at the game in a different way. And since he knows we're new, at least with me, I'm always talking to him consistently when I'm not on a drill or getting reps or something. I'm always talking to him about what I'm doing wrong, what I could do better, what I'm doing good as well, just to keep that up. So Tyler has done a great job on that, and then not taking and like no credits, not giving no credits to those and Kofi and DeMonte and Trent, Georgie, because they've done a great job as well. I think they're taking us by the hand and walking with us along. That way we can be the best freshman we could be.
Thanks, Andre.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Andre, what would you say the biggest adjustment has been going from like your high school workouts and practices to your college workouts and practices?
Well, practice in college 3 hours. That plays a big role right there. And like I've been saying, and we've been talking here with the other people on just having to guard Ayo or Trent. Literally every practice is either one. Like I'm either with Trent and then I have to guard Ayo, or I'm either with Ayo and I have to guard Trent. So, Trent's probably I'll say it's a little harder just because he's a senior and he literally knows everything, every place I'm going to be when I'm guarding him, like on a screen. Like he knows where I'm gonna be, where I'm going. So it's pretty hard to guard him. And obviously, having to guard Ayo as well. He's an NBA kid, so it's really hard. They can score the ball any levels too. So it's been hard, but I'll say the biggest adjustment has been that just being able to go for 3 hours, but not 3 hours on and off, but 3 hours on go mode.
And then you talked about how you and Adam are roommates. What kind of things are you guys doing off the court to kind of stay connected and bond?
We usually go get food all the time together after practice, or like whenever, because of COVID, we can't really be going out like or walking around or anything. So we go for a drive or something. We're usually in the car like together. Like after practice, I go home with him. To practice, I come with him. Like we're pretty much together all the time. But because of COVID, it's been a little more restricted. So other than coming to practice and coming to work out after practice, other than that, we don't really be doing much besides doing that and resting at our apartment.
In those car rides, is it all basketball talk, or you're just talking about other things
Not
too?
really. It's pretty much, we don't really be like, I don't think, like if we've talked about basketball, it's probably like less than 5 times, and we've had a lot of car rides. It's just usually bumping music, laughing, joking around, but that's about it.
Thanks, Andre.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Andre, you mentioned that as a point guard and as an incoming freshman that you're just doing a lot of observing and, trying to learn everything that's going on the court. What has it been like getting to watch, talented ball handling point guards like Trent and Ayo and just kind of get to watch their process and then maybe kind of contribute that to your game moving forward?
Oh, I think it's been great. That's probably one of the things that I like to do as an incoming freshman on the team, or even if I wasn't a freshman. I always love to observe and see how the old guys do things. So I've been struggling with a few things, and I think Trent, it was either yesterday or the practice before yesterday that he was like, hey, I'm gonna help you out, I'm gonna give you some tips. So I always like to learn and see, that way, like I've been saying, I could be the best freshman I could be for the team, because I think freshmen usually struggle a lot during the first couple of games, maybe like first half of the season. So I'm trying to observe and get as much information and tips and ways to do things. That way I could bring as much as I can for the team.
When do you think you're able to maybe get the most from them? Is it just conversations that you have? Is it from watching tape, or maybe when you actually have to guard one of those guys? What can you kind of pick up in those different instances?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I'll say probably where I can get the most out of it is probably by watching and talking to them, because when I watch, like I actually see it physically, like I can see what they're doing, I can see how they're moving, and then when I talk to them, it's with words and it's always good to talk to like a veteran like Tyler or Georgie or Trent, DeMonte, guys like that, those Kofi, that played a big role on last year's team. So I think that when I get the most out of it is by talking and just observing everything they do.
And then one final question. This is a team that, 3 talented point guards last year as well. You're kind of coming into that mix. Adam can handle the ball. How do you guys
tell him to lower a little bit? My fault. Sorry about that.
Oh, no, you're good. I guess just, stepping in with those ball handlers, what do you kind of maybe bring just differently than what they're able to do? And, how has it been kind of finding that balance of, different ball handlers on the team?
I think it's been pretty good. I'm pretty sure I don't think I'll have the ball in my hands the entire time whenever I'm in, because we're so talented that Ayo can bring it up, Trent can bring it up, and I think we're so diverse that we have so many people that can do different things. So whenever they're doing that, I could run a wing and then I could be more of a shooter in ways. Excuse me. So if let's say those or Trent has the ball or something, like I said, I could run the wing and just produce in different ways. Like I don't really have to like I don't really need the ball in my hands to do that, because I can always play off the ball. I did in my high school years for 2 years pretty much. Like the first 2 years I had to do it. So I think not having the ball in my hands won't really be a problem, because I've been playing for so long and in different scenarios that I could figure out ways to get people involved without having the ball in my hands. So I don't think it will be a struggle. I think it'll be the other way. I think it'll be great. That way I can continue to develop playing without the ball and moving without the ball. So hopefully I have a chance to get to the league or in Europe or something overseas, which they do a lot. Like they're so talented overseas and in the NBA and all these pro leagues that there's going to be guys that when you come in as a new member of the team, you're not really going to have the ball in your hands a lot just because you're new and stuff like that, and there's a lot of talent. So I think this kind of situation, when I don't have the ball in my hands, I think it's going to be great. That way I can just develop other areas of the game.
Thanks, Andre.
Yes, sir.
Hey, I hope everybody can hear me over the sound of my neighbor's power washer. Dre, you've talked a little bit about COVID restrictions and what you learned from other players. I'm wondering, have you had enough group activities or time on the court to kind of feel out who keeps the team tight in terms of leadership and organization versus who keeps the team loose? Like we know that Jermaine is a really funny guy. We know that Jacob is a really cerebral guy. So what have you got to say about that kind of chemistry?
Yeah, I think like you said it. COVID has been really hard for these kind of situations. But I think the time we spent on the court and off the court by after practice, like shooting, lifting afterwards again, or when we go home, I think it's been pretty hard, and I will say it's playing like COVID is playing a big role in that. But we're trying our best to continue to get to know each other on the team. I think for your question, our leaders are pretty clear. Like we know who our leaders are. We know who our funny guys are. Like we know all that stuff. So we're really aware of the situation that we're in. And when it's time to lock in, we have guys that will step up, and we'll speak about it. So I think we have that set, but the chemistry part, not being able to do as many group activities, not being able to, go around campus and see things and walk around together and go get food together and stuff like that. Sit down at a place, have meals together, like a team dinner at a coach's house or something. Like I think it's playing a big like COVID is affecting a lot. But like I said, during practice, like and off the court, I think if I'm doing something stupid and like a DeMonte or like an Ayo or Kofi sees me I'm doing it, they're definitely gonna say something about it, and they'll get me back into place. So we have our leader set. Like we know who our leaders are. We know, like I said, who our funny guys are. Like if you're feeling down, you know who you can go to get a joke or something, put a smile on. So I think we're pretty clear on that. But the chemistry will come along as the days go by, and we continue to practice as hard as we can.
And do you ever find yourself listening to guys say, wow, this is so much different from the way it normally is, whether it refers to going to classes or preparation for practice? That's it for
Yeah,
me.
100%. I've heard a lot, like obviously, like the preseason process has been a little more light than the years before, just because of COVID. Practices, obviously, coaches can really be as involved as much because of COVID. Like they have to be wearing the mask, the gloves, so they can really be as engaged in a sense. They're engaged, but I feel like if COVID wasn't a thing, they'll be more involved in the drills. They'll be more touchy in a way, like hey, like from like they'll grab me, hey, from here you got to go here, you here, stuff like that. But I think we're doing a great job so far. I think we're all really excited for what's coming ahead of us. We just got to continue to work hard. And I think if we keep doing what we're doing, we could be really successful on and off the court for sure.
Okay, we'll go to John Sapini and then Alec.
Hey, Andre, seemed like you were pretty well knowledge about how you stacked up with everybody nationally last year. There's been some stuff out there saying that you two guys are one of the best guard tandems among the freshmen in the country. How do you take that, and where do you see you guys fitting in with other freshmen in the country?
I think like I don't know what was the question, but on like when I hear all those things, like like I could be one of the best freshmen in the country, and all the ability that I have, it's great, and I love to when people send it to me and stuff, and I love to read that, and it's always a good reminder of the things I can do. But I'm a player that I don't really be thinking about the things, the positive things. Which it could be bad and good, but I always look at the negative things and how I can get better from it. Because the positive, yeah, they're great, clap it up, good job, whatever. Like it's done. Like nothing, you can really do nothing about it. But on the bad things, like you can fix them and you can get better from it. So seeing all those things and reading them is great, and I think I think I'm gonna have a good year. I think I can bring a lot to the team in terms of like I've been saying, getting people involved and getting my own shots as well. But I think it's always great to see that, but I don't think it's affecting me obviously in a positive way of like, oh damn, all these people are talking about me, this and that. I'm kind of just letting it sit there. It's in the back of my head. I know how good I am. I know how good I could be in the next weeks, because I think we're making a lot of progress. Us freshmen and every, like as a team collective as well. We're getting so much better. So yeah, it's there, and I'm glad. But I'm not really gonna let that play a big role in my in my career. I'm just kind of gonna leave that aside and continue to play as hard as possible and do whatever I can do to help the team win.
Thanks.
So.
Okay, Alec, we're going to finish up with you, and then we need to switch over to Adam so he can get done before his workout. So last question out.
Hey, Andre, nice to meet you. Sorry, I was finishing up a quiz for a class, actually. So if you've answered this, I apologize. But there was some stuff floating around on social media yesterday with you gaining close to 20 pounds since you've got to campus. Can you just kind of, I guess, explain what that process has been like and how you've seen your body transform since really the summer?
It's been a really tough process. So everyone knows being in the weight room and getting stronger is, it's really a slow process, just because of the amount of hours we practice. So, when you practice and you put on weight, you're going to lose them in practice, probably like about 2 to 3 pounds. And that's what usually happens with me. So it's been rough just because I have to eat a lot more. I have to put extra work in as well, which I'm not mad about. I'm in love with the weight room nowadays. Like I said, I used to be a really, lazy guy. And because of COVID, I couldn't get here on the weight I wanted to be at, it was 180, but because I got sick in January, and before COVID was a thing. Shoot, maybe I even started COVID. I don't know. But I got sick in January, and I was in a good spot. And then COVID started happening, and when I got sick for 2 weeks, didn't really eat anything. So I lost like a lot of my weight, and because of COVID, couldn't really get into weight rooms and gain all that weight back. And that was my goal. My goal was to get here about 180, 185. That way I don't really have to put as much work in, like hit the weight room twice. But things happen, and when I got here, I knew being in that weight, 180, 190, 195, even 200, maybe in the following years, I think it's going to be really key just because of how physical the Big Ten is. So it's been a rough process, but I'm still here, and I'm going to continue to put a lot of work in and get as strong as possible for the season, and be that way I can be ready for it, to get contacts and bump wherever I have to bump, play on the screens. That way, like when I get hit on a screen or something, that doesn't really hurt. So I'm going to continue to work and keep working on the weight room, on the court, and be the best player I can be for the team.
Okay, Bello, we really appreciate all the time you gave. I'm going to have you go ahead and come on out, and we'll get Adam in there. Thank you.
You guys, thank you so much. Have a good one.